everyone, Spirit Witch here. So I've noticed that a bunch of you are doing the YouTube Pagan Challenge. So I've decided to hop on that bandwagon and do it myself. Because I'm a little strapped for time at the moment, and I thought this is a good way to get a few videos out there with minimal time. So this week, week one of the YouTube Pagan Challenge is how did you find your path? So I actually started off as a spiritualist, and that's where I learned about mediumship, about psychic abilities, because I'd always had the ability to do mediumship. I've always seen, heard, felt, and just known what spirit needed to say to me. So I went with that, ran with that for a while, but then all of a sudden I felt like the spiritualist path wasn't fitting me anymore. I wanted to go further into things. So then I started looking into witchcraft and Wicca, paganism. I even looked at shamans and different magical beings. And I just felt this huge pull towards it. So I started learning more and more and more about it, and I eventually stepped onto my witchery path. But it wasn't until like years after I'd been on my spiritualism path. So I'll start from the beginning. I lived in Eckington, which is in England. I was always drawn to nature, always in the woods as a child, finding edible plants, picking berries, picking chestnuts. I did it all, to be honest, and I just felt comfortable in the woods with nature. And as I said, I could see spirit. I thought I was a little crazy at times, because nobody else could see these spirits around me. And then when I was, I think I might have been about 5, 6, I shut it off. I totally shut it out, and I couldn't see spirit anymore. And then at the age of 15, I went through a traumatic event, and it just opened the door back up. So that's when I started going to a psychic development group called Safe Haven, which was in Chesterfield, well, Dronfield, Chesterfield. And they taught me all I needed to know about mediumship, how to do it, how to tune in, how to meditate. I learned about psychometry there, pendulum swinging. I call it pendulum swinging, but you know what I mean. Divination with pendulums. Not like pendulum swinging, the big ones. And yeah, I learned a bunch of stuff there. But then I started like hopping on and off of like a witchery path, looking into spell work, looking into magic in general. And then I'd go back onto the spiritualist path again. But then when I was about 22, I decided spiritualism wasn't right for me anymore, and I stepped away altogether. I actually stepped away from doing mediumship and psychic work as well. I think I stepped away for like 4 years. And then once I moved over to the United States, I began doing readings again. Now, that was a huge leap for me because my husband is agnostic. He thinks there could be a higher being, but then again there might not be. So he didn't really believe in what I did. And then I started at Unicorn Books and Gifts, doing readings on a Saturday. And through Unicorn Books I met a bunch of people, like-minded people, pagans, Wiccans, witches, whichever path they were on. And eventually I did join a small coven here in Ramona where I live. And yeah, I know a bunch of you, if you are intrigued by my videos and you're just watching this because I'm from Ramona, there are covens in Ramona. Because a lot of the people in our town don't believe that. So anyway, getting back to the story, I learned quite a bit in the short time that I was with the coven. And I also learned a lot about myself. I learned that coven life isn't for me. I prefer to practice on my own. That way there are no limitations. because I know with a coven, you have to think about the other people in your coven before you go, say, doing a curse or a hex. You have to think about the other people in the coven because you're all linked. So whatever comes back at you does come back at them, kinda, slightly. Depends on how the witch worded it. So I decided that I needed to step away just to be myself, because it just didn't sit right in my stomach, me being in a coven. So now I'm on my own path. I'm doing my own thing. I haven't really got anyone to answer to, and I know that sounds a little wrong, a little like I can't, like I don't like people above me, because I do. It's fine. I just, with my practice, it's my practice. It's not anyone else's, and I don't want people saying what I have to believe or what I have to practice, if you know what I mean. Not that they did. It's just that I feel that we were all on different paths, and it didn't gel right as a coven, and I didn't want to affect them with what I was doing. So yeah, I was with them about a year, and then I left. And now I'm just, like I said, I'm doing my own thing. I'm taking on whatever I find calls to me. I do what needs to be done. I know a lot of you have been asking me the question, what is my opinion on the harm none? My opinion on that is, I'm not Wiccan, so I do not follow that. I am just a witch. But saying that, I don't go out and just harm people for the sake of it. It's just doing what needs to be done. If somebody's messing with your family, or they're constantly attacking you, and I like to try everything material to stop them first, but if they just keep going and going and going, then yeah, I'm gonna do something about it. Either put a hex on you or do a curse jar. But I'm pretty good with my curses. I don't let them last that long. Not that I've got a fear of it coming back at me, because I actually don't. And if it did, my protection, I'm not going to tell you what my protection is, but my protection is pretty strong. But yeah, you just have to follow your own path. You have to be yourself. You have to see what calls to you. Yes, I know some people, covens call to them and they want to be part of that group, but I am an introvert. I don't work well in the coven environment. I only have a few close friends. So yeah, it's just not me. So that's how I stepped back onto the witchery path, and at least the coven and my friends in the coven, we are still friends. It didn't end sour. They understand that I'm going down a different spiritual path. It wasn't anything to do with them as people, which I think that is a great thing to have, because I know a lot of people, if you leave the coven, that's it. You're shunned for life. You can't be friends anymore, which I think that's a little bit crappy. So they helped me get back into the swing of things, learning about witchcraft. The first witchcraft book I ever bought was a book by Silver Ravenwolf. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the big, thick, I think it's like the Book of Shadows one or something. It's like got a purple cover. I'll put the name of it in the comments below. But I bought that and I thought, well, this isn't really, it's not me. And I thought, if this is what witchcraft is, maybe witchcraft isn't for me. But I didn't stop there. I just put that book aside. I didn't even finish it. I've still got it, just in case it calls to me one day. But to be honest, that particular book, most of the stuff in it, I'd already done throughout my life without even realising I was on a witchery path. It just, all the things came natural to me. Like, for example, spell work, candle magic. I've been doing candle magic since 16, where I'd light my candles and I'd give it intention. But I class that as being a spiritualist. But yeah, I found that book, and it's no offense to Silver Ravenwolf whatsoever. It was just, I was past that book. I was already more advanced than that book. The second book I bought was the Solitary Practitioner book by Scott Cunningham. I read halfway through that, and it is a great beginner book, but I'm not Wiccan. A lot of the stuff in there is for Wiccan practice. However, I did cross a few things out that I didn't agree with, because that's what I do. And I found that I was more advanced in that book also because I started off as a medium. So when they're teaching you about energy work and working with your deities, because I do have a deity, I have guides also. I can't just get rid of my guides just because I stepped onto a witchery path. They're just part of me. In witchcraft, I think you like call them helpers, or well, I like to just call them helpers, guides, helpers. But I had, well, I've always been on the spiritual path, but with a twist of the witchery path. The Scott Cunningham book, I'd advanced that one too. Now it's great if you're wanting to be a witch and you've got no experience whatsoever. Just like the Year in a Day book, the Year in a Day books. They're great also, but I found myself repeating. Now let me just make this clear. Repeating things is really, really good. I always say to people, if you get stuck in your path, go back to basics, because then you'll learn something new. But I'd just recently gone back to basics when I started back on my path, and then I picked this book up and it's making me go back again to basics. So as I say, just find what calls you. Don't necessarily follow every book to a T. Just take out of it what is good, what calls to you. And yeah, that's really how I got on my path. I'm actually glad I'm back again, because it's me, it's who I am. And yeah, I did shut it down for a while. Now, I only shut it down because head office, I like to call them head office, they let me. Now, if they didn't want me to, they would have been still showing me spirits. I'd have been getting woken up in the night with voices. But they actually gave me peace for that. I think it was 4 years that I stopped. I needed to get my head together, back in the game. And now I'm back, and I'm just learning so much more now. But anyway, that's me, the Spirit Witch. If you do like my videos, please remember to subscribe. And I'm also on Facebook, and it's the Spirit Witch page. So yeah, I hope you have a great day, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.